Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike and welcome to Spyro Fusion, also known as Purple in other places in the world. Clear the save file and then we should be good to go. So I have a feeling this isn't the game that most people would have grown up with. So I will explain just about everything to do with this game in due time. But this is going to be a long one, so I will explain this during the run. Are we ready to start? I'm going to assume yes. So I'll do a countdown from 3 and then we'll go and go. So, go. So, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, before you all start dance gaming because cheat codes, not only are cheat codes allowed in this category, cheat codes are downright mandatory. 2 of the cards that I got from those cheat codes are only obtainable through cheat codes, which is absolutely fantastic. And the other cheat codes we put in were just gems. So, welcome to Spyro Fusion. Spyro Fusion is a really weird collection of minigames for the Game Boy Advance. And in it, we are going to be collecting all 120 card trading cards. So, why are we collecting trading cards? That's a fantastic question. So, this was part of a series of 2 games. The other half of the series was Crash Fusion, which was an entry in the Crash series, and it used all the same sprites and such as Entranced and Crash the Huge Adventure. And the idea was that these 2 worlds were going to collide, and Spyro would play some minigames and Crash would play some minigames on the Reach versions, and they needed to shoehorn some kind of connectivity between them. So for that they decided on the trading cards. Now in this game we're going to be collecting 120. The significance of that number is that that is the maximum number of trading cards you can obtain without using the trade functionality. With the trade functionality that goes up to 200, but that's a weird set of circumstances where you actually need 4 cartridges, 2 of each. I'll get into those details later. So how are we going to collect these trading cards? Because that's normally a thing Spyro doesn't do. Spyro usually is all about gems and venturing overworlds, and we're also going to be doing that. Here's a cutscene skip. There we go. You can skip that portal cutscene, which is fantastic. It saves us like a minute over the course of the run, but it's actually quite long. It wasn't known for the longest time that you could skip that, so it does have some significance. So, first off, why did we just re-enter this level? We finished this level, right? So that's what throws people off most about this game, and what I think leads to it being the most unappealing, is that we actually need to beat every minigame 3 times. Because we get 1 trading card as a reward for beating the minigame the first try, and we get 1 trading card for beating the minigame the 3rd try. Now the minigame isn't identical for each visit. With each visit the difficulty increases. That generally means that the level layout is the same, however there will be more enemies or more difficult enemies. For example, we'll see in later levels where the layout is exactly the same, every enemy has 1 more health point with each layer of difficulty added. To take care of these mines, the arc of this missile is not fantastic. It is really sensitive to how long you hold down the button, and when we're being hit by a mine we're invulnerable for a little bit of time and we don't really have control, so if there's one right next to a ledge it will just straight dunk us into the pit. And as you can tell, this is an auto-scroller. This game has a lot of these. So we're going to be not doing much for the longest time. So how do we get these cards aside from this? Because we're not going to play 120 cards worth of minigames. Although we will be playing a lot of minigames. A lot of these come from the shops. So every overworld is broken into two halves, with the exception being the fifth overworld. And in each half, there will be a shop. In the first half of each one is a regular shop where you can see what you're buying and you can buy it. And in the second half of each world is a minigame shop, where you need to play a special minigame to get each of the cards from the shop. Now I do have a spreadsheet open next to me because there's a lot of cards to keep track of, so hopefully that all goes through without fail. That is one of the worst mines, I don't like it. Another way we can get gems in this game is the overworld gems. So this game is really weirdly unique, where the one gems, the red gems, aren't one-offs like normally in Spyro, as you guys have seen in various runs already. Gems are all unique. So once you collect a gem, it's kind of gone forever. That's the case for every gem in this game, except the red gems. The red gems are just like Wumpa Fruit and Crash, where they'll just respawn forever. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to visit the shop. We have 4 cards to buy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fantastic RNG, they all landed on the left. Take a damage boost here. Go through. And fall in, roll out. Yeah, I hope you guys are ready for like 15-second loops of absolute bangers. So this is one of the tank levels. As I mentioned, this game is a lot of auto-scrollers. So we're just gonna have to put up with this. There's 3 versions of this minigame all reskinned. All we need to do here is just make sure we don't get crushed up against the wall or take too many hits. Got our buddy Sparks up there, he'll be our health indicator. We can take 4 hits before we die on anything, with the exception of pits or getting crushed. Yeah, for the most part, this is probably just going to be pretty chill. So we've visited one of the shops already. That was a standard trading card shop. In that you get shown... So each shop has a collection, and it will always sell cards from those collections. In that case, that shop sold 4 blue Spyro cards. So it always shows you 3 cards from that set, just randomly picked. The other shop in this overworld, which is in the second half, which we'll see in a bit, it's quite distinguished which half is the world, is the spinning wheel shop. Now, previously a lot of these shops were thought to be completely random. Turns out the spinning wheel shop is less random, although still relatively random. So I should start explaining the stack now, because the stack is quite complicated and will take a bit to explain. So imagine you had a deck of cards, and it's only 5 cards tall. And they're each numbered 1 through 5. Fantastic. So if a game has one of the shops has a stack, and it will identify the stack, and it will draw you the top card off that stack. So in this case, we're drawing a card numbered 1. Next time we go to draw from that stack, the game will have remembered that we've taken the top card from it, and it will give us the next card, so it will always give us card number 2, which is fantastic. So the game will always give us the card that we need from the stack if the shop has stacks. So only the spinning wheel shops that we'll see are affected by the stack. However, we'll also see a slight design problem where there is no guarantee that we'll actually get the correct stack. So in shops where multiple stacks exist, which is all of them, the game will randomly choose, evenly, which stack to choose from to then draw a card from. So typically, cards are organized so that all cards of the same rarity are on the same stacks. However, there's a few design flaws where, for example, in Crash Fusion, 4 orange cards were on the stack, and then there was a separate stack containing 1 orange card. So effectively, every time you rolled an orange card, there was a 50% chance it was that 1 card, which leads to a lot of memes. So this is the second visit to the tank level, which is pretty fab, IMO. And this one is the exact same, except there's these flying enemies now which shoot, and every enemy has 1 more bit of health. I can't just mash because enemies have iframes, which is, you know, absolutely fabulous. So the only shops affected by that stack property are the trading card shops, are the spinning wheel shops. And also overworld cards are affected by that property as well. However, that's not a feature we'd see in Spyro Fusion. That bit of tech is exclusive to Crash Fusion. The final way we collect gems the final way we collect cards in this game is through gems. And that's not buying things with gems, that is collecting gems. So as I mentioned, all non-red gems are unique in the overworld. So for every half world we complete and collect every single gem in, we will obtain a trading card. Now we'll be doing this in all but 1/2 of the entire game. The reason for that is that the developers made a slight oversight where you can actually buy one of the rewards for the gems at a shop. So we don't actually need to do that half, which is the second half of the ice world. The second half of the ice world is actually really interesting because that's where a lot of tech ended up being. It was one of those things where this game is actually, you know, it's a little boring because we're driving slow tanks for 20 minutes with the same 15 seconds of music. But it actually does have some really interesting tech that you don't get to see in the non-completion categories. I also just found some neat tech this morning, which will cause some parts of the game to be faster. I'll try to improvise that in. I know of one place it'll be helpful, which is the Wampa Jungle. We'll try to fit that in when we get to it. So don't worry, not all of these minigames are going to be this slow. Generally there's 2 to 3 of these auto-scrollery type levels in each world, and the rest will be fairly quick minigames. For example, I think the next minigame we play is a bridge destruction minigame. There we go. So every world is separated by these mashing minigames. All you need to do is mash through them. That's all you ever need to do for them. So all I'm doing here is I'm going to throw 2, I'm going to break 2. If he doesn't fall off, then I'll break the second one. And then when he's building the bridge, I hope that he moves to the left and knock him down. Fantastic. Awesome, that was really quick. Hold on here. There's the exit portal, so there's still some stuff to do around here. Normally I like to do a dungeon boost through there, but it seems we're missing our sparks. Walk along here. So this is the final auto-scroller of the first world. So this is kind of chill, and as you can imagine, this is the exact same minigame, just reskinned that we're now going vertically instead of horizontally. But yeah, here we go. After this, the only other minigame that remains is Breakout, which is exactly what it sounds like. We also need to go to the trading card shop here, which is a spinning wheel shop, and we need to collect a few cards. I think it's only 4. I'll just check that shortly. Yeah, it's only 4. So in this game we're going to be collecting almost an entire set of Crash cards, and all but one Spyro card. The reason we're collecting all but one Spyro card... Sorry, all but... Oh yeah, it is all but one Spyro card. So there's one Spyro card we cannot get without trading, which is the exclamation mark sheep. Because the exclamation mark sheep requires you to connect a copy of Spyro Fusion with another copy of Spyro Fusion. So we can't actually obtain that. But all the non-blue Spyro cards are unique to the Spyro games. So if you were to play the Crash versions of these games, all you'd be able to collect from the Spyro collection is a small number of the blue Spyro cards, which also results in 120 cards completed. But in that game has a few more things to do because Crash Bandicoot has gems and crystals to collect, so those also go towards your completion, which we categorize as 104%. The reason we call this 120 cards as opposed to 113% is the fact that cards actually give you so little in terms of completion that getting the remaining 80 cards to get to 200 cards doesn't actually give you any more percentage. So you'd be having 113% either way. And I think you don't even need everything that we're already collecting to reach that 113% total. A lot of the speed in this game, the good times, come simply from not failing. As you can imagine, a lot of these levels are quite long, and later in this game, this actually presents a lot of really difficult levels even casually. So a lot of our time saved, quote-unquote, in this game will be coming from 1 good RNG and 2 good levels. I often boast that this is probably one of the most difficult Spyro games to complete fully casually. Because 1, without the spreadsheet, you never find all the cards. And 2, I think it does contain, possibly the hardest Spyro level, I'm tempted to say. Well, here's the shop, we're going to be going in here. We have a few things to collect. Fantastic TNT. Oh, almost. Fancy. We're looking for Nitro and Aku Aku. So in these shops, it's like, well, why don't you just, wait, measure how much you're going to be spinning it, and then spin it specific power to only move at that amount. Why not just mash? Why are you just mashing through? And that's because even at the same power level, it's random how many segments it's going to move. So it's impossible to actually know until you have spun the wheel how far it's going. Luckily, because of the stack, we know that we just need to roll this twice more. But we are increasing our amount of money just by doing this over and over again. Fantastic, there's all the cards. Oh wait, we are going to the right. Usually I do this when I'm going back to the left. I got kind of confused there. You get that up? Catch that cycle? Almost. So this is... Ooh, that was not the right button. This is Breakout. There's 3 rounds of Breakout, and then with each difficulty level this gets faster. There's a trick known as the frame perfect hyper boost discovered by Taka, where by using the ball absorb and the ball kick 1 frame apart, I believe, it results in the ball going extremely fast. I'll see if I can ever pull it off, but I only ever get it when I don't go for it, so who knows. With each variant of this minigame, it's just going to get faster. It's going to be the same patterns though. This can lead to some weird physics issues because I don't think the game was meant to go this fast. It seems to be based off the Crash Bash minigame, because Crash also has this exact same set of minigames. We'll also be seeing more variants of enemies in later versions of this level. For example, we'll see Shield Rhinox, which you can't attack from the front, and we'll also see Scientists which act identical to these. There's also a cooldown on the ball absorb, and the hitbox is much smaller than it looks. I remember getting thrown off really badly when playing this casually, because I thought I'd be able to absorb balls from a lot further away. Fantastic, so there's all our visits done. Now we can go and finish the first world for now, but we won't need to come back here until the backtrack. There's a gem, collecting that for now. As I mentioned, every non-red gem is unique, so later in this game does have a post-game. So we will need to come back through every world eventually. And that'll be when we're doing the cleanup to collect all the gems. Fantastic, so this is that same bridge minigame, exact same strategy will apply here. Fantastic RNG. There's Crash Bandicoot, we've now killed him, so now he's our friend, apparently. And we realised that although we thought Crash was our enemy, he's actually our friend, because it was just Cortex and Ripto making us think that we were enemies. Fantastic. So, now we're on to World 2. This is a magnet minigame, which makes me scared because I don't like these minigames, because it only appears twice in the entire game, once in the Ice World and once in the Final World. However, the one in the Final World contains 2 of the hardest levels in the game, the second and third visit of the level. The third hardest level, in no particular order, is one of the post-game minigames, which you guys will be seeing. So here there's not much to do, just make sure I don't get trapped, make sure I don't take too much damage unnecessarily. There's some cool tech to these levels, but none of it appears in the first visit. A lot of it requires really long falls, which just doesn't appear in this level. It's fairly claustrophobic. So here we need to go down here because there's going to be that enemy low down. If you shoot him from the staircase above, then you will not be able to hit him from your missile, but his hitbox will hit you. So one thing we do need to keep in mind is our gem count. We always get 10 for beating the minigame the first time, 20 for beating the minigame the second time, and 30 for beating the minigame the third time. Which means every time we play a minigame to full completion, we will be collecting 60 gems. Now gems are important because we want to buy things, and we actually have a lot of things to buy. One major point of RNG in this run is going to be the shop in the third world, the random shop. Because that shop is strictly random, there's no skill to it like the wheel shop or the vase shop that you'll see in this world. It is just pure randomness. So if we can, we'll either do one of 2 things. We'll either get the 3 cards that we need, or we'll bankrupt ourselves. And if we bankrupt ourselves, we'll need to do some backup strats to get some extra gems. it's more likely that we do bankrupt ourselves than don't, so it's not like this is some never happen scenario that I'm not ready for. But it does mean that we can just get really good RNG, and that we don't need to worry about visiting that shop during the backtrack, which saves us about maybe 20 seconds. As I mentioned, there is a lot to this game. Unfortunately, all the cool stuff is padded out by about, you know, an hour and a half worth of auto-scrollers that no one wants to do. But this game does have some really interesting tech and a lot of cool functionality to it, which one doesn't get explored during casual playthrough because they don't know of the tech going on behind the scenes, and two doesn't get explored in the lower percent categories because they don't do things like shop visits, or most of the post-game, or any of the post-game actually. Because any percent ends at the final boss, whereas we're going to be doing a lot of things after the final boss. And anyone who has not seen the post-game for this has not seen quite possibly the worst level in video gaming. I always, whenever I seek out someone streaming Spyro Fusion for the first time and hasn't played the game before, one thing they do when they're like, okay, we've finished this game, let's move on to our next variety game type thing, is I'll always at least mention to them that there's a post-game and how to get to it, because it's really convoluted and the game doesn't teach you, and just assumes that only a completionist will ever find out that there's a post-game. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone beat the first level of the post-game yet. Which, I know that's not really saying much, but even at a top level, it's not relatively consistent beating it. So that's one cool bit of tech there that you can see, where normally you can only invert when on platforms, however you can invert after falling off something. And we'll see that later on to extend the amount of time you have in the air to be able to do a second invert in the air. And that will be seen later on in the run. This should be our final visit to this, I think. I'll check how many gems we get of this to be sure, but I think this is our third visit. That is one problem with this game, a lot of it just blends into one, because there's no actual distinction between the first, second and third visits. I think this should be the end. Okay, cool. That was all 30. So after completing the first world, we unlocked a double jump. Fantastic. I want to be dying as little as possible in the overworld. Each death costs us 10 gems, so I don't want to be doing that. Here we need to buy 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, okay, cool. Oh, almost. I'm trying to make a cycle, I just forgot which platform it was. Are you... okay, nice. I'll do this a bit slower this time. Are you... okay, that platform just doesn't seem to exist. Fantastic. Awesome, we made that cycle. That cycle's really hard. You know, it took me a while to learn how to get that. Like those 2 gems there, so we don't need to get that during the backtrack. And enter Arctic. We're just gonna be chilling for a bit. Not much to do here. As you can see, this is yet another reskin of the same minigame. Before, when we were flying and shooting fireballs, now we're in the... I think this is like the space thing from Spyro 3, if I'm not mistaken. And you guys who actually play Spyro, let me know, that'd be grand, thank you. Yeah, this is no different from the other skins of the minigame, we just do it 3 times. Enemies get 1 more health point with every visit. And all we need to do is make sure we don't get crushed and make sure we don't die. I'm wondering if like this thing Spyro's riding is the thing from Spyro 3. Like the Sorcerer's boss. Because I've never actually beaten any of the other Spyro games, or the Eternal Night. I've only ever seen people, and I always thought it looked kinda similar, but I can't quite tell if it is. One thing I don't know if I explained, but enemies have iframes, so we can't just mash through them. I need to be waiting whenever I do want to kill an enemy in this mode. Like that. Also, hitboxes are bad, and you can just get crushed, so I need to be very careful that I don't get crushed against the wall here. So I would argue the coolest category for this game is probably 200 cards co-op, which is doing this run, but also doing the Crash run as well. And you actually need to get less cards in this because you don't need the Crash cards in that run, because the Crash player will get them. So as long as you can find someone else to play this game with you, you can actually do like this really cool run. And the Crash player doesn't even think... The Crash player needs to be good to an extent, but Crash will always be faster than Spyro, because there is just less to do in Crash. So as long as you can find a Crash player at a certain threshold of skill, and you're interested in playing Spyro, then you can get a really cool run going. Bit lower health than I was planning. This should be the end of the level pretty soon. I don't actually have these levels memorized, regardless of how many times I've done them, because so many things just look the same that I don't bother committing this to memory. I just rely on the sound cue, and although it's not great because it loops like every 15 seconds, I know what it sounds like when we approach the end. So sometimes I think the level ends prematurely. Fantastic. There's some gems there that you guys can see. We won't be collecting those now. We'll be getting a Vulture power-up next world, but we're not going to be coming back here until the backtrack. So this is the breakout level. This is effectively the same as the previous one you saw, but with a different layout. So here's the shield ones now. All they do is that you cannot attack them from the front. So one thing that can happen when you have multiple balls on the screen is that if you use the magnetization on them, they will actually occupy the same space and will effectively just become one ball. Nice hitbox. Like that, for example. So you can tell, hitboxes in this game are absolutely lovely. How do I... Okay. I never had that guy still be alive, because usually the ball comes through him and kills him. Fantastic. So that's how you normally kill that shield guy, that's why I was taken a bit off guard. There we go. Do this guy somehow, there we go. Cool. There's all the things we need, there's Sergeant Bird, he looks terrified. Come on and help Sergeant Bird. Okay, here's the second mashing minigame. So this is actually the half of the, well, the only half world that we'll be seeing which has a lot of tech in it, and that is relatively small. So we'll be seeing there's two bits of tech in this game. There is the menu warp, and I'm dubbing the, what did I call it? I literally dreamt of it last night and I tried it this morning and it worked. I was going to call it the partial menu warp, because you only do half of it. Whoa. Ooh, what's this? Yeah, welcome. Welcome to the people tuning into Spyro Fusion. Fantastic. I will explain a lot of this game again, because I feel like I should probably do that at least once a world, because we're going to be here for a while. I want to represent heck yeah. So welcome to Spyro Fusion 120 cards. My name's Mike. This is a Spyro minigame collection for the Game Boy Advance, and we're collecting trading cards. Why is Spyro collecting trading cards? Because there was a sister game to this called Crash Fusion, and they needed to shoehorn in some connectivity between them. Why 120? Because that's the number you can get without using the link cable. So this is a lot of auto-scrollers, a lot of shopping, a lot of mini-games. So get comfy, get some hot chocolate or something, get a bag of crisps or some popcorn, and just kind of get snug, you know? So we're going to be doing every single minigame 3 times. The reason for that is minigames have difficulty settings, and beating easy unlocks medium, beating medium unlocks hard. And we get a card reward for beating both easy and hard. And in addition, the final world doesn't unlock until you've beaten the hard mode of every level until then. One bit of tech you're going to be seeing after every single level is a cutscene skip, skipping the animation of the portal unlocking the next icon. Each overworld is broken into 2 halves. The first half containing a regular trading card shop, which we can just buy things like a normal human being, and the second half containing a minigame shop, where we need to just kind of bless RNG that we get the good stuff. There are 3 types of minigame shops. There's the spin wheel shops, there is the vase shuffle shops, and there is the mystery shop. Mystery shop is just straight random, you get shown 3 boxes, I hope you pick the one which has the cards in it. Side reward is possibly gems to reimburse you. There is the base shuffle shop where you get shown where the 3 things are and you need to follow the vases, just like the cup game. And the final one is the spinning wheel shop. Spinning wheel, you can spin one of 4 things on the wheel. You can either spin a card, a jackpot amount of gems, or a regular amount of gems. The spinning wheel shops have a property known as the stack. The stack is a little hard to explain, but I'll do it anyway because we're in an auto-scroller. So imagine you have a small deck of cards consisting of 5 cards. Each card is numbered. When you try to draw from the stack will draw the top card, and you'll obtain card number 1. Next time the game tries to draw from that same stack, you'll draw card number 2, and so on and so forth until the stack is empty. Then you'll start being rewarded random cards from that stack. So the stack never disappears even when it's quote-unquote empty, because then it just spits out random things that used to be in it. The game will evenly choose between the different stacks, which leads to some great memes like Scuba Crash. If you've ever wondered why that appeared so often during Crash Fusion runs, that is why. Because Scuba Crash is in its own stack. So in addition to all of those things, we're going to be collecting all of the gems in the overworld. Unlike regular Spyro, where every gem is unique, only non-red gems are unique. So red gems respawn infinitely like coins or Wumpa Fruit, but every other gem in this game is unique. So we're going to need to collect every single one of them, with the exception of this half of the world. The developers had a slight oversight where the card you get as a reward for collecting all of the gems in this half of the overworld is also just purchasable in a trading card shop in the fourth world. So we're just not going to be collecting the gems here. The reason I'm not mashing through these enemies is these enemies have iframes. They only actually have 3 health, but you can see that, if I stand up and do that, then it's taking a lot more than 3 hits to kill it. What do you mean what a great time to host? This is Spyro Fusion. This is the best game in this marathon. I don't get what you guys are complaining about. So not only are we going to be doing all the minigames in this game, this game also has a post-game, which a lot of people don't see because 1, it's obscurely hidden, and the game doesn't tell you how to unlock it. And 2, the entrance to the post-game is quite possibly the hardest minigame I've ever seen in all of Spyro. I don't know why it is with Fusion, but Fusion has like really difficult minigames in it, both Crash and Spyro. Crash has a 2-frame jump that's almost mandatory in one of the levels. Like, not as a trick, not as a skip. It's just a thing you need to do to beat the level. Fantastic. Okay, now we can go down here. Here's Ice Chopper. You're gonna hear me mashing. So we're just doing this 3 times. The game only has about maybe 2 auto-scrollers per world. 2 to 3. Awesome. So here we need to go into the shop. We need to pick up 4 cards. This minigame doesn't have the stack, but we just kind of need to hope. Aku Aku. Mystery. Come on, we need spring and iron. Come on, bless RNG lads. Oh, I lost track. Yep. Spring. Okay, we just need iron box and then we're done. Awesome, that was really good. So here's a menu warp. So we go back to the file select and it brings us back to the entrance to this half of the world. We do that to save having to jump all the way back up, because that is quite long and quite tedious. Here's the hardest boss in this whole game, IMO, Russian Gulp. So Gulp's going to be firing stuff down from his jetpack, and Crush is going to be coming along. We need to get Crush to use his shield to reflect the shots back at Gulp. We do through well-timed headbutts. Like such. So he'll stay stunned like that for some time. We need to just hope that Gulp goes over there. Fantastic. No, my R input just got eaten. Fantastic. If this is this phase, he just took a minute. Oh, stay there, stay there, stay there. Fantastic. Okay, go. You stay there. And there. Amazing, that was a really optimal Crush and Gulp. That doesn't usually go that well. I guess we take those. Hey, Fire World. Well, now we're just gonna be chilling for a bit. So now that we have the flutter ability in addition to our double jump, we now have all of the movement options that we need. So from here on out, we're going to be collecting every single overworld gem, with the exception of the second half to the Fire World. We'll be collecting the final gem of that during the backtrack, so we need to go out the way for something during the backtrack. How many worlds are there? There is a total of 5 worlds, but only 4 of them are broken down into 2 halves. The final world is just one big overworld. So the estimate is 245. There is a solid chance that we will be significantly underestimate if we get good RNG. The reason the estimate is so high is because, as you can tell, a lot of these shops are strictly random, and there is a very slim chance that this run could never finish in the lifetime of the universe if we just got really unlucky. So if we get average RNG, we should be looking around a low 210, 220. And if we get absolute garbage RNG, then yeah, we're looking about 245. It's just, you don't really need to ever spend that long doing the random elements. The trouble is that you will eventually run out of money. We don't know why they made that change, but in Spyro Fusion, the money cap is 9,999. So if you ever obtain money after that limit, then you'll just not get those gems. Which will actually be hitting that gem limit if the second half of the Fire World shop goes well. But it does mean that in the final world, each attempt at the shop will leave, I think, cost 100 gems. You only really get 9 shots at it. So for then, you need to then leave and earn some gems back. There we go. There's not actually much difficulty when it comes to this when you at least know what this level will do to you. Most of these minigames are traps in the sense of they're not actually difficult, it's just things that will surprise you and catch you off guard and crush you. So if you just know what to look out for and know the game's tricks, really not that hard. But when you're first playing through the game, it can be deceptively difficult. I do encourage people to play through this game. It can be a bit long, but it can definitely be worth it, just to say that you've beaten it. Plus there's only like 3 any percent times on the board, and even less for the other categories. Except Beat Cortex, everyone knows that's not a real category. OP. Fab, okay, nice. I'm going down here, falling to the left because I don't want to fall in the lava. Maybe there. We're going to be going to the shop here. I think there's 5 cards we need to buy. Yes, 5. All blue Spyro. Sorry, give me Spyro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you notice there was already cards that we'd bought that were already there before we even bought a card. The reason for that is you can actually expect the so the cards we end up getting as a reward from the 3rd visits of levels can also be bought in shops, but it is that 3rd completion of the levels that allows you to do the 5th world. So the difference between Beat Cortex and any percent is beating Cortex is just doing the first 4 worlds, and it only does the... It's effectively just like beat boss number 4. And for boss number 4, all you need to do is beat the first version of each minigame. Unlocking the 5th world requires the 3 beats of each minigame. Hence why it's significantly shorter. So Beat Cortex effectively doesn't actually beat the game, as you only defeat just a relatively speaking arbitrary boss. But it's the boss before a huge wall to your progress comes in if you haven't been doing that already. I think it was mainly just made so that the people who were doing blind runs and didn't realize that you needed to do each minigame 3 times could just have like a run. Oh, nice. Weird physics. So yeah, here's an instance where we had 2 balls and they just kind of face into one. Also, this minigame can just randomly kill you. I don't know what causes it, but if you ever see me just die when, like, the ball hasn't even gone into the goal, then that's why. This was a cause of never-ending frustration during my first ever 200 cards, because I never played that minigame before. Awesome, that was fairly optimal. Nice. So here we're just coming along here to get gems. So we should get a trading card from this. Fantastic. So the trading card we got there is because we collected every gem in that first half. Yeah, also, thank you for that input, Paul, sorry, not Paul. Yeah, so all the categories in this do mirror equivalent ones in the Crash Fusion leaderboard. Okay, it's 4 AM. You gotta let me off the hook, man. I am kind of tired. Fantastic. So this one you actually can't beat faster than, was it 0.66 seconds remaining? We're actually in no rush here. Like, you can manage this minigame really short, like, really slowly. Almost. Almost I'll work, boys. So we're going to be collecting all but 3 overworld gems in this, because we'll be collecting the rest during the backtrack. Maybe 2 hours. This shouldn't take more than 2 hours more. What time are we at now? Like, just an hour. Should maybe take an hour longer if we do RNG. And basically this world will be the fortune teller telling us if we're getting good RNG or not. For anyone who missed it before, we can't just mash through these unfortunately because these enemies have iframes. So we can only attack them so quickly. Which is about that quickly. Okay, I need to stop messing around, I'm actually almost dead. So in this upcoming shop, it's going to be completely random. We're shown 3 boxes, and it's kind of like the beige shuffle minigame that we were doing last time. Except you don't get to know what was in what, and it doesn't shuffle. So you're just picking randomly. So in other words, we're just going to mash through and hope we get the cards. So we can get one of 3 things. We can either get a card, which is maybe a card we're looking for. It doesn't obey the stack property, so who knows if it's actually the card we need. It could be gems. The gems won't always reimburse our cost, but it'll do most of our cost. So it allows us to play the minigame for a bit longer. Or we could get nothing, which is the worst outcome, because that way we're not even getting some money back in our pockets. We don't need many cards. I think it's just 4 or 5, if I'm not mistaken. We'll collect as much as we can until we're bankrupt. And when we are bankrupt, we will just proceed and do the rest of the shopping during backtrack if required. Yeah, so there's 4 shops, 4 cars in the shop. Fantastic. Not what I meant to do there. There's also not what I meant to do there. Fantastic, we're just throwing away our gems. Just that confident in this RNG seed. We're killing that guy. Time, nothing, gems, nitro switch, we have time and nitro switch, come on, no way, really? Amazing, we just got like 4 nothings in a row. I have a slightly sneaky idea. No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it, never mind. So we missed out on the Iron Spring and the Echo Echo. I'll just need to remember those for later. Hey, here's Nina. So here we just need to get her to destroy these boxes as quick as possible. And final hit over here, and then we can raise the roof using the furnace. Should be enough? Yes. Hey, now we're back into Wumpa Jungle. And this is just another version of the first minigame we saw in this game. So it's just going to kind of be chilling. In this minigame, there's not much to do. We just need to make sure we don't get destroyed. In later versions of this minigame, there will be little mines. We just need to make sure to destroy the mines in due time. Because when you get hit, you become unable to control Spyro for a small duration of time, and that can result in you just driving off a ledge. I need to be careful with my aiming. The distance it goes depends on how long you held down the B button for, and it is extremely sensitive. So the reason we're not going back for the shop now is because later on in the run, we're going to be collecting a lot of gems. And there's a good chance that we'll have a max gem count on our way back, because we'll be collecting a lot of overall gems. So we'll just do it when we're on our way back and we've already got a lot of gems. This should be the end. Amazing. We've achieved this max strats. I don't think we've actually failed a long minigame yet. We've failed Breakout a few times. We're at a really good pace. The only unfortunate bit about our pace is that we didn't get the fire shop. Actually, we got really bad RNG where we didn't get... I only think we got 2 instances of getting gems as rewards. We got nothing like 4 times in a row, which is really bad. But we did get 2 cards, which is pretty cool. Amazing. Okay, cool. We need 4 cards here. 1, 2, 3, and we have just enough for 4. Sweet. So one of the cards we got there is actually the card you get as a reward from the second half of the Ice World. So now we don't need to get the gems there. Amazing. This Piranha is my worst nightmare in Carnage. Pick up the health pickup. Then pick up the health pickup. Fantastic. Oh, sparks. No, you... Hold on. There we go. That was rather unfortunate. Get knocked down there. There we go. Amazing. No, you... Are you... I'm doing this to walk back to the shop, so I don't need to walk all the way back over to the right. I've never had a problem with this before. Like, I've had problems with the first plant, never the second one. This is new. New problems live. There we go. There's only like 2 more gems. There we go. Amazing. So previously the strat was to do with death abuse. However, we found that you can do a partial menu warp, just to go back to the previous portal, as opposed to a full menu warp which brings you back to the first half of the world. So this is another one of those trap levels where if you know where you're going, you're fine. It's just a lot of sharp turns to trick people who it's their first time playing. So as I mentioned, we'll be doing this minigame 3 times. Each time we complete this minigame, enemies will get 1 more second of health. Also, I need to watch out, although it looks like these hitboxes are really like nice and rigid and square, they're most certainly not, and it's very easy to get trapped. As you can see, when you're moving along there, it takes like a bit before Spyro actually goes up, and that's because the hitbox actually extends out horizontally. If you guys see me mashing, it's more out of habit than like actually needing to. The longest time it wasn't knowing that these enemies had frames, so I'm just used to mashing being the strat for this. Okay, this is what I meant about the traps, by the way. Like, look if you went up the middle here. Like, you're just dead. You didn't have a chance. And you can't see that. Like, I would love to pick one of the devs' brains to find out, like, what they were thinking when designing some of this. So much of this is just counterintuitive and, like, against you actually completing it. So Spyro has no animation when strafing. I never noticed that until now. Okay, final visit at this level. After that we're going into Wampa Jungle second half. Also, those turns are way tighter than I'm making them look. Just throwing that out there. Amazing. We're going to be riding by on a relatively low gem count for quite some time due to the fire world. Luckily, we're always able to afford shops, as the most expensive minigames, I believe, cost 40, and every minigame gives us at least 60 as a reward. But there is a chance that we're just going to skip the shop in the second half of the fire world and the second half of the jungle, and we'll just do that during the backtrack when we have more gems. As we can grind gems extremely easily in the late game. I'm talking 100 gems for every maybe 15 seconds of gameplay. It's not bad. You can grind like, 400 gems a minute, so. Which I'm making it sound like optional. It's not really. You almost definitely do need to do it during at some point. So we're going down here for the secret route because there is gems along here. was a gem? I think I might have missed a gem somewhere. Heck. Where would I have missed a gem? I guess we'll check during the backtrack. I'll just check next time I'm at a shop. I'm at a shop actually. This should be the jungle talisman. I didn't see a pop there. Ooh, not yet. Oh, I know where it is, I think. Take a quick look, and if it's not there, then I'll just continue on. Amazing. Usually I walk a bit over to the right and I don't fall down that pit, but since I've learned where that pit is, I just jump into it. Please. Oh, now we're good to continue. So this gem was much grieved because it blends into the background so well. Amazing. Here's another breakout. Amazing strats. Nothing short of legendary right here, folks. This one's actually pretty cool. Almost. It's cool when it works. This one's pretty cool in the higher speeds as well. One of the only like breakout levels with a really consistent strat to it. It was almost the right thing to do. Amazing. There's just one more minigame left, which is this one. For the jungle world. And it's another one of these low tank levels. So the shop in this world is a spinning wheel shop. How many gems do we have? We've got like 200. We'll give a few shots at the wheel. We'll give it a few shots. I think. Should we? That's one thing I do like about this game, is that there's a lot of like on-the-fly management. Like risk and reward. Do we come back and do it later? Or do we do it now? Because I want to have gems set aside for the mystery shop. Because I don't want to run out there. The grinding there is expensive. I guess we'll do a little bit of the jungle. And then we'll work it out when we go. Because we only need, like, what, 4 cards? And they're all in the same stack. If we get any jackpots, we should be good. In fact, we'll actually end up in a better position if we get a few jackpots. Okay, just 2 more visits. Fortunately, after this level, there's no more of these, like, pretty simple auto-scroll. Well, there's only one more of these, like, simple auto-scrollers, and there's no more tank levels. It'll just be one of those, like, hovercraft levels, and it's actually fairly interesting. Some cool stuff to it. In the final world, we have a magnet level. One of these levels, but it's the up and down one using the hovercraft. There's a tug-the-rope minigame, there's a bridge destruction minigame, and there's breakout. We just need to wait this one out. We're almost done here. Medium time-wise, 120-ish. We should be on a pretty good pace, I think. Depends on how the shop goes. Amazing. Okay. Okay, it's I would... In literally any other game I could give a solid estimate for this, I have no idea. Like, good RNG, this could maybe be like a 210? Bad RNG, this would be like 230. Can't be more helpful than that, unfortunately. Okay, we are... That was objectively the worst shot of my life. Amazing. Okay, Cortex, the only thing we can optimize during this fight is the final hit. Oh, nice. Okay, never mind. We also need to do an extra hit because I'd never missed that missile before. I didn't know you could fall down in there. Amazing. Great video games. You will see a slightly suboptimal Cortex. Although optimal Cortex is not hard. Normally that's the last hit. There we go. Okay, so because we completed each minigame 3 times, we can now hop into Tech Park. Fantastic. That means we did everything correctly. This is Gravity Well. The FPS in this is crazy. So although to fight the final boss 3 times, to fight the final boss we don't actually need to beat this level 3 times, but these do reward unique trading cards. So we do need to do them nonetheless. This is the final auto-scroller that's pretty free. But we do get a space in it, which is pretty cool. So for Context Phoenix, I will know my pace soon. It's just I won't know it right now. It's depending on something that will happen within the next 10 minutes will effectively decide my pace. Well, this bit's fine, so this is a huge trap where if you're not aware and start doing this immediately, you will die. Pretty good meme. So here's space. I really like this level because it's quite distinct where you are, because of the different backgrounds. Yeah, I'll keep you posted, Phoenix. It's like, I know that just when we arrive in this bit, I just need to mash and end a level. Like, this one actually looks like a nice level. This looks like a level that someone tried to make. Like, it's weird. There's so many bits in this game where it's like, they almost tried, and then there's so many bits where like they clearly did not even want to try. Then it's like, you look at Crash Fusion, and I'm convinced it wasn't. I haven't looked at the credits, but I'm convinced it wasn't the same team. Because otherwise, I feel like this game would have had a lot more going for it. Because Crash Fusion is actually a kind of cool game. By the way, for anyone wondering why I'm talking about Fusion when I'm talking about Purple or Orange, it's because in Europe that's what those games are called. Well, I grew up calling this Spyro Fusion. And I even still do because that is the version I have. Because there is no difference between this and NTSC or J, as far as we know. J might have slightly faster text, but the downside is I can't read the card names. There's so much detail to this, like you can see the stars twinkling in the background. Like if only they put this level of detail into literally any other parts of the game. Doing a damage boost through here. Never mind, we don't even need to do that. Oh. Okay, Skywalker. This is the other magnet level, and this is the one I said sucked. Out of the 3 hardest levels in this game contains 2 of them. The second and third visit primarily. I don't know how this ever got into a children's game, because this is almost impossible. So we'll narrate this first bit, but after that, the enemies will be moved around, and I actually do need to concentrate. Like, as much as this game is a meme, I am actually going to take some serious time doing this, because this is kind of hard. So here I'm wanting to maintain gold sparks as long as possible, and I'm making sure to have plenty of missiles in reserve. You can only ever have 1 missile in your tank, but I'm making sure to preserve them onto the next missile so I can effectively shoot 2 at once. Like for example here, in case there's a guy. Fantastic. Depending on our health levels, I'll be doing an exploit during this part. During the next visit at this level. That was close. So this game just straight up has like death planes at the top and the bottom. So I need to be careful to not hit those. That's also like a blind jump effectively if you don't know where that platform is. And it makes it suck, but whatever. You also have a slight amount of time between when you land and when you can shoot, which isn't like really apparent. Also your hitbox extends downwards slightly, so we're able to pick up that missile. That missile is actually mandatory for some of the later visits of this level. You need to wait along here and then invert, and then complete the level. Okay, I'm gonna shut up and concentrate because I want to finish this in my lifetime. Oh, you nice. So there I took a bit too much damage early. Fortunately, remembering the enemy cycles in this level is kind of hard due to the enemies always being in random places depending on it. Just memorization here can be pretty tough. So after one visit this level, I do kind of remember what it looks like. But then I'll also probably end up being confused for the next visit, where all the enemies will be moved about again. So these enemies are relatively easy to avoid. I won't be doing the exploit here because it's kind of risky. We don't need to. Never mind, we got hit. Here. You want to go for a double invert here? So there's no missile there on this visit, but we can keep a missile for that. Gonna collect this one. Wait, and invert. And we just hold right to win. Okay, final visit. I would argue that this is a little easier than the second visit, but not by much. Also, there is no health restoration during these, you just have 4 hits for the entire thing. I'm gonna hold left here, let the missile late, oh that guy, when he's still on screen. If the missile doesn't hit when he's on screen, that didn't happen. Yeah, I guess we can show off the invert glitch here, because it's kind of cool. The enemies are going to be coming from behind us. We can hit here. Almost. Whatever, it was worth it to show it off. If we get there with gold sparks, then I won't bother doing it. Because we'll just take the damage and not have to worry. But because of you not meaning to be up there, the game does get a little bit confused about where you're supposed to be, and you can just end up in the kill point. If we still lose sparks all the way there, we'll just keep him. If we go down to green, we'll try it again. We'll just keep this. Nice! Made it through that pattern. The pattern's easier than I remember it being. So I was down there. Do I need to wait down here for that guy? We're actually in the home stretch now. It's almost impossible for us to die because we have too much health. Now we just need to ride out the rest of this level. Amazing, that was a pretty quick Skywalker. Take the flanked, another round of breakout. After this, all we have is the pull the rope minigame and something else, I think. Are we already done? Done 3. There's something I'm forgetting. There's something I'm forgetting. 2 auto-scrollers. 2 mashing ones. Break out. Oh, the bridge! I forgot about the bridge, yeah. We've already done the bridge. We've done bridge. And 2 auto-scrollers. But after this is the mashing one. Okay, fantastic. Nice hitbox. Not forgetting anything. I just forgot a level that I'd already done, so that's fine. Come on, yes. When we do this, we're going to jump over to the right and collect some gems. And then adventure around the perimeter, collecting the final few gems in the overworld. Nice! I just tried to get both of them and got none of them. Amazing. Fantastic. Oh, need that one. Reasonably important that we pick that up. We'll be coming back to that shop a little later on. There's just some things we need to pick up. Amazing. Okay, cool. We're going to quit out of this. Menu work back. And then we're going to go beat the boss. And then we're going to do the rest. So we got all the gems in this part of the overworld. So an optimal cortex in Ripto ends in 4823. So here we're going to be doing a tactical reset. So the reason for that is the game saves as soon as the credits start, and it saves your location and the fact that you've beat the boss and the reward for it. However, if you let the credits play out, you'll be sent back to the first world, which isn't great because we've just got to do the worlds in reverse order now. So we need to walk all the way back there. So I think I'm going to go do some, just for marathon strats, we're going to grind some gems. Every time we do this, we get 100 gems, effectively. Because it costs 100 to play and 200 for winning. So it does have a prerequisite that we can't go in here when we're broke, but we can come in here when we have money to spare. We're gonna do this till we get to like 700, I guess. Luckily we can do this optimally, so we know that we're getting fast times. If you do it correctly, you'll always end in 6.66 seconds remaining. Which I think tells you something about this game. Okay, we're gonna do one more visit to this, and then we're gonna be doing the shop. Amazing. We need 2 blue Spyro cards here. Firefly, and we need a lava fountain. I think there's 5 crash cards we need. And 2 green Spyros. Okay, there's all the blue Spyros. Nasty Nork, and we also need Grandor. I think it was Steel that we got last time. There's Steel, there's Exclamation. We're looking for Grandor here. Awesome, we have all the non-crash cards. So here we're going to go for gems, just to reimburse us. Amazing. Wall box, amazing. So it's just random which crash card we get if it is a crash card. That's the biggest jackpot I've ever seen. I didn't know it could go that high. Right, okay, I think we just need freeze and then we're good. Okay, we're gonna go do that minigame a few more times. Oop, that was a mistake. I got confused with the different part of that level. So I lost about 10 seconds because of that. We're going to grind all the way up to 700 because we do have some shopping to do in the back. We're going to do this twice more. Okay, let's go get the card. So all we're looking for is, I think it was freeze crate. I'm 90% sure it's freeze crate. I'm gonna check this quickly. Freeze, crash. Fantastic. Okay, there is that shopping done. We're gonna menu warp back. So let's go warp tech, where we're going back to the file select. We can go all the way back to that, and go all the way back to the portal. Now we're gonna do the remainder of the shopping here. We didn't get a single card last time we were here. There's checkpoint. There's clear gem. Looking for Wampa Fruit and Crystal. I think they might be in two separate stacks. Can't quite remember about this shop. There's a similar stack in Crash Fusion. As soon as we finish this Phoenix, there's maybe about just shy of 20 minutes left. See, now we're getting decent RNG. Amazing. Fruit. Okay, all we need is crystal. So that should be our final purple roll. No, okay, there are two stacks in this shop. Heck. I'm going to check quickly that we don't have crystal. It'd be rather embarrassing if we did. Okay, we don't. That was actually really good RNG manipulation. Never mind. Okay, there are two stacks. So there's a Wampa and checkpoint stack, and there is a crystal and gem stack. Amazing. Amazing video games. Come on, please. Clear gem. Is crystal on its own stack? There we go. Okay, just in time, because we just ran out of money. Here's gem hop. Okay, so this is... I was talking about 3 levels which are exceptionally difficult. This is one of them. And this is the reason why most people don't do the post-game. So this minigame only unlocks when you have obtained every single unique gem in Tech Park. So in this minigame, we need to collect 100 gems. Gems of 1 value, so red gems, will spawn on these platforms randomly. These platforms will spawn randomly. You need to collect 100. The game doesn't tell you that you need to collect 100, it just expects you to. Also at 50, the platforms half in size. And if you die, you need to start from the beginning and your counter resets to 0. The game tells you none of this. It just says collect as many as you can, and it just looks like one of those gem bonus minigames. But this is actually mandatory, because this is how you unlock the rest of the post-game. This also has a trading card for it as well, so it is also mandatory in that sense. Also, hitboxes are terrible, and anyone who's ever played this game can back up that Spyro controls like a brick. You also cannot be neutral in the air unless you jump from neutral. The moment you touch the D-pad whilst in the air, you will start going in that direction and you have no control over that. So luckily a consistent strap for this was found, which I will be doing later on, around about when we get to 70 or so. About 15. So when we get to 65... So we started this at 63, so now we need to collect up to 163. Platforms will half in size at 110. Is rare. Usually we'll get it within the first 3 tries. Oh. 0 drop frames here. Yeah, it seems to have smoothed out, so let's just kind of roll with it. I also just I've got a local recording, and we're kind of on war pace here, so I'd rather not just pause. Yeah, my OBS is spitting out a smooth 0 for edge drop, so... Anyway, I'm going to shut up, and now that we're about halfway. You'll see the platform's half in size, and then I'm just going to multicast. So high key, does anyone remember the card that we missed in Fire Part 2? Because I don't. That hover strat here is known as consistent gem hop, where by doing this, a platform will always spawn beneath you, effectively, or at least within range of your jump. No, are you kidding me? Heck. It's also trying to balance it out, because you want to also do this minigame fast. Kinda got hacked there. Platform next to it fell out as well because the hitbox is slightly larger than the actual thingy itself. You can also flame them to make them drop. We started about 150 or so. Hey man, we're only like 10 away. That was kind of concerning. It's very easy to see why this level is just silly levels of difficult, because it's just randomness. Just hoping that something will spawn beneath you. You can make it like semi-consistent, but there's no guarantee that Like, I've genuinely seen patterns before where you have to die, like, there isn't anything for you to fall on. I'm gonna play this safer. No, are you actually kidding me? Oh yeah, it tells you when you get to 100. Also, nice meme, I was like 5 off. Well, War's dead, but whatever, we'll finish this round. Nice. No, this isn't gem farming, this is a mandatory minigame. You need to get 100 in this to unlock the final post-game minigames. The post-game minigames are required. Yeah, luckily the rest of the post-game minigames are super easy. It's just like this is a really hard start for it. Started this at like 260, I think. Man, we got so close like twice. If you skip this, then you'd never finish this game. Like, you might have beat Cortex and Ripto, but you never got all the cards. Unless you traded with someone for them. Which is basically cheating. Like, the rest of the minigames are pretty fun. Alright, so at 310 is when they'll half, and then I'm just gonna try not to choke. Yeah, see, that other platform fell out without me being on it. Whereas that one I was halfway in and it didn't fall. Oh, nice. I didn't realize I was halfway. I thought it was going to be like 310 or something. Amazing. Amazing video game. This is another reason why the estimate was quite high, because Gem Hop can just go badly. Some days it just goes alright, and some days it just doesn't. There's a bit of a meme. The first time I ever did a run of this, well, I did run of 200 cards, which involves doing this minigame still. And it took me 2 hours to give up on this level. Okay, so at 358 is my Manhattan size. Please remember that. Because last time I fell because I thought the platform was too wide, and I would have landed on it if it was too wide. Unfortunately, it was not. He was not a wide boy. Amazing video game. Whatever, I went the wrong way. Okay, so Gem Hop is done. This unlocked Sheep Chase, where now we run away from sheep. As you can tell, this is now significantly easier than what we were just doing. That is going to be a running theme. Okay, cool. We don't have anything left to collect here, so we're just going to menu back. And we're going to menu back. That gets us through here. We're now going to head over to the right. This minigame, yeah, this minigame is what I think it is. So, I ask any casuals who will ever play this game to look away, because there's a spoiler for how we do this. Anyone else, just look and regret. Yeah, this is exactly what you think it is. You were so close. Like, I forget how long you spent doing this, but it was honestly beautiful to watch. Yeah, it's like they hide it so well, and like how. Amazing. Ooh, we can't leave here. We can't leave here because I forgot we need to buy things. Fantastic, thanks for reminding me, chat, OP. We almost just went back to the start of the game. That would have been a hot meme. Okay, what were we missing here? What were we missing here? It's Fire Mountains, Mystery Game. We've got Iron Box, Nitro Switch. So we're looking for Iron Spring and Aku. Come on. No. Okay. Amazing. Amazing video games. We're gonna be doing this minigame a few times. We're gonna grind up to maybe 300 this way. I mean, this is the last shop, and once we're done this shop, we're done. Just about. Well, not actually finished, but like, there's no more randomness, it's just picking up overworld gems. Man, this has actually been a decent run, except we've been hacked by every single point which is random. Like, this is the worst mystery game shop in Fire Mountains I've ever seen. I've never seen the spinning wheel shop in Jungle go so badly. I thought they were all on the same stack. The only thing that kind of went well was the vase shuffle shop, which even then wasn't fantastic. Hey, round 2. Amazing. How many times are we gonna get the time crate? No way. No, are you actually memeing on me? Video game, please. There is a 1 in 3 chance that we get a card. And there is a 50% chance that it's a fight card. We effectively have a 1 in 6 chance every time we play that. Because the cards that we already have by doing that are basically even worse than getting nothing, because the animation takes longer. The more cards we have, the harder this minigame becomes. And we need to do this minigame like 2 point something times to make up for the cost. Time crate, more like Monk S pointing at clock. Yeah, this is why the estimate's 245, because like I did a practice run the other day, which was like finished minutes ago. Like this could have legitimately been where we didn't get hacked this badly this many times. Yeah, I guess we're gonna do some shopping. I don't know, how much money do we even have? Like on 200? Let's just... Nope. This jump's actually a lot trickier than it looks. Amazing. Ooh, we got Aku. We got Aku again, we just need Iron Spring now. Wait, okay, almost. Almost. We're gonna do this once more, and we're gonna get first try. Okay, chat? We get some less RNG. I feel like we need it. Amazing. Y'all have the worst energy I've ever received in PvP. Thank you for stopping that pyramid. Oh, no, someone stop. No, you guys, you don't let him pyramid. Okay? Easy. Don't let him draw loss. I'll actively stop this run if someone posts loss in chat. For an energy, heck yeah. Yeah, come on, we've got all this E now. We've got these E numbers. Nope. No. No, did we just get 2 time breaks in a row? Has anyone been keeping track? We've gotten at least 10 of those. I'm also going to check the shop just in case we have somehow got this card already. I mean, I don't think we have. But there have been times where cards have just randomly appeared in my inventory. Not in mystery shops. Oh yeah, so duplicates don't track. So once you've got a card, it just throws away the rest. Yeah, we are missing it. Amazing. Amazing video games! We did the minigame. We probably did the minigame, I hope so. So... now we're back here. We don't need the gems here because we already have the card that's a reward for this, because we just purchased that in the Wampa shop. So... we're just gonna go down here. Amazing cycle. Keep cheering. Let's get the task strat. Amazing, that was perfect. Okay, cool. So here we have some gems to pick up still. Time is coming up pretty soon, by the way. It will be in the next overworld. So this is why we wait until we have the hover to do this. Almost. Almost. There we go. Jump on this, and over. Amazing. Nice. So yeah, for anyone who missed out, that that going to the menu puts us back to the far left of the level. So any minigame that I'm walking past that is new doesn't actually give us anything bar gems. So this is the final minigame. After this, we need to collect 2 more sets of roll cards and we're done. So these should be the final 3 cards. I say should be, there's a chance we missed something. We'll check my inventory at the end just to make sure. But this should be everything. Amazing. Okay, cool. There's all the gems up there. Now we just need to go back to the left. Not that far to the left. Oh yeah, so all of the post-game minigame cards are sheep cards. I'll show off them at the end, I guess. Amazing. Where does that put me? Okay. Fine, we keep our gems, which is the important part. That was totally just a death abuse so that we didn't have terrible sparks. Apparently you can make that cycle. I don't believe it. Even though I've seen it, I don't believe it. Because I've never done it. Amazing. Video games. Up and out. No. Casually choking on the platforming segments, no worries. We're going to do a menu ward just to quickly get back over here. And collect these 2. 3. Okay, time's going to be coming up soon. Time's going to be when I collect the final gem, and I'll just exclaim. There's only 1 there, and then 2 above. Amazing. So we need to collect some minigames in this castle and then out to the left. Show you some gems in the castle and out, then out to the left. So 1, 2. Yeah, this isn't a PB or worse, so it doesn't matter. Time is late. Okay, time is coming up in 3, 2, 1, time. And verify 120 cards. Woo! Amazing. Video games. There's all the Spyro cards. With the exception of this one. This one you get for connecting a copy of Spyro Fusion to Spyro Fusion. And then we have all these. And we get all the crash cards that you can get in Spyro Fusion. See, there's the dreaded time crate. And the thing that escaped. As you can see, these are all assets from like Entranced and XS. There's some cool Spyro ones as well. Spyro and... Oh yeah, there's the sheep. Any other cool ones? Oh yeah, there's a bunch of Spyro poses. I don't know if these are from anything, but... cool things like Agent 9's laser and Monkey Digging, Rocket, Talismans... Sorceress. But yeah, we're done now. Okay, so if we have some time, I can show off Spyro DDR. That'll just take a second. Do you guys want to see Spyro DDR? Is that a thing you guys want to see? DDR? Heck yeah. Okay, let's play some DDR. So I just need to switch games because Spyro has Crash DDR and Crash has Spyro DDR. So 1 second. So if you hold down any of the triggers during startup, it should just start into the minigame. So I don't actually know what this does. So I know this does something in Crash Nitro Kart. It permanently gives a addition to your save file. Also, the default language is Netherlands. I bought this game in the UK, so it's just always Netherlands. Yeah, Spyro Party. Let's do some DDR. We get some Sourplis in chat. So yeah, this gives you a permanent upgrade in Nitro Kart. I don't know what this does in this game. Imagine if this gives you a trading card, and like, you know, then we need to remake all our categories. It could be a hot meme. Yeah, just tell me when we're gonna get kicked off, and you're gonna do the next one. Because I don't actually know how long this lasts. I think there's 30 rounds in Nitro Kart. So you can see how many we need to pass and how many are remaining. But yeah, this minigame exists on Crash Nitro Kart and both copies of Fusion. Right, round 2, session 2. So each round is made up of 3 sessions. Amazing. I think you need to do an FC for the last one. But yeah, there's a bunch of really cool, like, weird mini-games. Like, if anyone's never played it, there's a minigame called Crash Blast that's part of Wrath of Cortex for GameCube. Which is a pain in the ass to capture, but I've done it before and I've done a run. It's like half an hour. It's not good. Heck yeah, FC, let's go. Wait, did that say gem reward? Is this giving me gems in-game? That'd be a pretty hot meme. This isn't how we're gonna grind gems, but you know. This could be a fun side category. On a hill. Better than Dragonfly X? Not wrong! You got a gem. Okay, what do gems do in the context of this? So if you GBA games did something really stupid, where they would tie things to your cartridge, not actually a save file. For example, for the Crash Nitro Kart version of this, it permanently unlocks 3 missiles on the final boss, but it doesn't attach to any of your save files, it just attaches to your cartridge. And you can't actually erase it or clear it. The only way to clear it is to use third-party software and effectively modify the contents of your save file on your cartridge. Either that, or you need to replace the battery in your cartridge and get a new save. So I don't need to worry if this accidentally saves something permanently to my cartridge, but if you don't have a DS and an R4 card, you can permanently ruin your cartridges by playing these kinds of games. I say R4 because that's just a good DS flash card. And it gives you a legitimate reason to own one. Okay, round 5. If this is the same as Nitro Kart, there should be 10 rounds. So we're halfway. This is also starting to get actually kind of difficult, so yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, now we've got directions in here as well, which isn't making things easier. Amazing, FC. SI, where are you? I'm surprised more people don't know about this minigame, like, I don't know. Seems like something people should be aware of. Amazing. So I missed a few notes. I'll need to hit, I missed at most 3. Amazing. Round 6, session 3. Okay, round 7, let's go. Some people try and tell me other Spyro games are the best Spyro game on Game Boy, but I mean, clearly this is just the best Spyro game full stop, because it has this. So now we've introduced the right direction as well. Ah, man. Oh no. Okay. Oh no, there's only a few rounds of this. We're just getting to the difficult parts now. I think it should go up to round 10 if I'm not mistaken. Okay, final session of round 3. Okay, more rounds to go. No wait, 3. 3 including this round. Amazing. I just hit all of the wrong buttons at once. The final session of round 3. Round 9. Only for 3 misses now. Okay, final session of round 9, then one more round. Okay, final round. Amazing, so yeah, you're only allowed 2 mistakes here. Nice, I just dropped all of my spaghetti. I'll put my inputs on screen so you guys can see. Okay, let's just, you know, just do this. And then we can pass over to the next thing. When I assume it's ready. Oh, okay, there's no reward in this game. Nice. So yeah, that was Spyro Party. Hope you enjoyed. There is no reward for doing this, apparently. Today we learned. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Spyro Fusion, and a brief intermission of Spyro Party. I guess we're going to be passing over in a short bit. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of the GBA vlog.